To better get where you're going in life, you must know from where you came. Our past or history is one of the most influential molders of our lives. It shapes us into who and what we are today. Now, can you imagine a walk through life's path without someone having already traveled that path before us? The path is much easier and going much smoother after someone has cleared away the brush and the briars and the sticks that can cause us harm. We should be grateful to our forefathers for their preparation of paths that have made our travels much easier. But are we totally aware of what they did for us, how they did it, and how it affects us? This video will show one aspect of history in the North Georgia mountains, namely Dawson County, in respect to a way of life that led to something that almost every person has some knowledge and or contact worldwide. NASCAR racing began over 60 years ago with the concept of making cars run faster in order to outrun the Internal Revenue guys that were chasing the Moonshine haulers. Getting to know these guys will reveal life lessons and a true appreciation of what they did, whether it was good or bad or ugly, and how the history of it impacts the world today. Here's the story.
Turned and walked away, never said goodbye. We had a really good time. Good time.
That's 14 prize.
But he absolutely prized.
That's the old boy there. He's a sheep. Got the same transmission as that one.
Well, I probably would have really enjoyed it because I raced in something like this way back in the first days. But I was there as a mechanic for the very last running of the Beach Road course. And
what year was that?
That was 1958. A guy by the name of Tommy Herbert out of Miami had a car. Raced him to the name of Chester P. Jones. He went by when they gave the green. Me and a couple of the young kids were there with a couple of tools and a tire or two. And they went by and never came back. When the race was over, we went to the north end. And there's a hole in the fence up there. We went and looked, and sure enough, there was our car laying down there outside the fence. We said, "Where'd the driver go?" They said, "We think he's up there at the old timers bar there at the north end." We went up there, and sure enough, there he was in there on about his 15th toddy, and said, "Boy, I was going to win that race. I was passing those guys like crazy," and they wrecked that car because you didn't fix my windshield wiper good enough. And one of the other old drunks in there said, "Yeah, you was passing them all because they was backing off to the corner and you wouldn't." Now we got the sound.
Puts a smile on your face.
That is pretty trick, I'm telling you. That is pretty good.
This is my first trip to Dawsonville, and I'm real tardy in getting here. I should have been here way before now. I'm really impressed with what I've seen so far. You know, the museum here and some of the cars that are right here in the museum, but also the cars that are coming in.
Back in the day.
Well, see, back in the day, these were guys that did this, guys and gals that did this for the love of the sport of it, the competition, you know, the idea that I can work on my car and get it to go faster than your car, and that I can drive it better than you can drive it to get it to there and back and beat you, which was the birth of NASCAR racing as we know it today. And a lot of this hard work that was a labor of love built into this sport that is the number one sport in the world. You know, people will stay up all night Saturday night watching or all night Sunday night watching the race on their satellite TV from China or somewhere in Europe or Australia or somewhere around the world. And it has become absolutely that big and that popular, you know, and you see that with the Formula guys and the Indy guys all trying to come to NASCAR now. I had 9 brothers and sisters. My mom and dad had 13 children, but 3 babies died along the way. I was 4th in line, had 3 older than me, and then 6 younger than me. And my grandfather lived with us. My mom's dad, Grandpa Patton, lived with us when we were kids. And he was a great sports fan. He wasn't an athlete himself, but he was a great sports fan. And he would take one of us kids to an event, a baseball game or some kind of event. And one night he said to me, "Come on, Bobby, we're going to the car races." And I'm telling you, it was really in the beginning of car racing in Miami and in the country. I was probably about 10 years old, which put that at about 1948. And went to Opelika Speedway. They had built a little track out there on the old Opelika Air Base, and went to that. And I said, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I've got to do it." And I pursued it through my school years, and then my senior year of high school, I actually drove my first race out there at Hialeah Speedway.
At the still, I had the people I was working for, I was just a young boy then. I was probably 17 years old. And there was a vat at the still that would hold 100 cases of liquor to temper it down. All right, the tank in the back of the panel would hold 100 cases. I have left the still with one night running with 91 cases of liquor, being 6 gallon to the case. That's getting close to 600 gallons.
But they were in gallon jars.
No,
Oh,
they was. I would haul it to the stash, and then they would jug it at the stash, put it in the jugs.
So the lid, you said that got loose.
The lead on the tank.
Oh.
It was just slid in the back of the panel, and it had a big lead on top where I could fix a thing to put the hose in there. I pumped the liquor from the still into the tank. Check your license. And then in a few minutes, one of the agents come up, got right in my face, and I could see the other one out of the corner of my eye coming up beside my car. And I don't know that he had a blackjack. If he did, he never did hit me with it. But and when I seen him coming, made the lunge for me, I pushed this one that was in front of me, just shoved him backwards in the face. And then the one that come up beside there grabbed me, and the other guy that was older agent with him, he held a gun on the other boy. When he got out of the car, he just pulled a gun on him, and we wrestled around there and fought for, it seemed like a long time. It didn't take that long, but anyway, they never did get me handcuffed behind my back, but they finally got me handcuffed in front, and tried to shove me in the car, and they finally hit me upside the head with a pistol.
So they put you in the car?
I ended up going to Gainesville. I stayed locked up for about 4 hours in Gainesville. And then they took me to the federal building and fingerprinted me, took my picture, and then they was fixing to go to Atlanta with me. And I heard one of them say over to the other and said, "Have you read him his rights?" Or whispered these. I said, "No, did you?" "No." Then they took me in a little room there off to myself and read my rights before I went into Atlanta. Went before a magistrate judge in Atlanta. But other than that, that's the only time I've ever had any dealings with a federal agent.
So evidently your fingerprints didn't match something on that.
No, they didn't match. I know the one that got away, but they wasn't mine.